Chapter 34. It is essential that a person being treated for mental illness has access to quality information about medications. It really is true that knowledge is power. I learnt through my nursing training that the textbook acquired knowledge of nursing and medical students is one-dimensional and inadequately explains, if it even attempts to, what it is actually like to be on a particular medicine or combination thereof. Take Mellaril, for example, or not, which might be wiser. Mellaril, generic name thiarazidine, has been around for a while, and in the early 1990s most inpatients seem to have been prescribed it at one time or another. It's a mysterious sort of thing. On a mentally well person, a tiny dose will knock them over. I know this because a friend of mine wanted to try it. She was partial to the odd bit of recreational drug use, so I gave her a 25 milligram tablet and we decided to go for a relaxing walk. Well, about 10 minutes down the road, my friend suddenly stops. "I can't walk," she said. "I can't go any further. I can't move my feet. I've got to lie down." And that was it. She lay down and couldn't get up again. I didn't know what to do. How would I get her home? So I left her there, half comaed on the side of the road, whilst I hurried into town to find someone who would come and pick her up without asking too many questions. I found just the right person, another drug friend, of course, and we lugged my mate into the car and then into the house, where she promptly went to sleep for several hours. How much Mellaril was I taking as prescribed at the time and still walking around? 600 milligrams a day. I had just come out of hospital, and this is a fairly standard dose for inpatients. It turns you into a zombie, though, and those of us taking it could do little more than sit around on the steps of Rata Villa smoking cigarettes. We begrudged what we saw as sadism on the part of the staff as they would round us up and make us join in with a game of volleyball or cricket and compulsory jazzercise sessions after breakfast. Trying to be active on 600 milligrams of Mellaril is like trying to swim through setting concrete. Hence my thoughts that people who have not been on these types of drugs themselves have no idea what it feels like to be chemically straitjacketed. They are not always the best sources of information on the topic. The older style antipsychotics such as Mellaril, chlorpromazine and haloperidol have some significant side effects. They cause, and everyone on the drugs hates these, the dreaded restless legs. This is an intensely uncomfortable sensation of not being able to keep your legs still. A sufferer will roll over and over in bed, continuously extending and retracting their legs whilst gripped by a dull, restless ache. They also cause a condition known as tardive dyskinesia. This develops when people are on this class of medicines over a long period of time and/or in high doses. Tardive dyskinesia is characterised by muscle twitches and spasms, mild to severe depending on the degree to which the person is affected. It causes problems with gait, such movements as pill rolling, which is an unconscious rolling movement of the fingers, and an involuntary rolling and chewing of the tongue. There is no medical cure for tardive dyskinesia. It can sometimes, but not always, be partially halted by the cessation of the causative medication. Research carried out in the United States suggests that there may also be a link between cannabis and tardive dyskinesia. Clinicians developed a rating tool to measure the severity of symptoms in people with the condition and discovered that the patients with the worst symptoms were those who had used recreational cannabis. People using cannabis to treat symptoms of tardive dyskinesia report mixed results. While some find it beneficial in managing symptoms, others find that their symptoms increase as a result. Newer drugs such as risperidone, olanzapine and clozapine are replacing the use of these older ones, but they come with their own hazards. For example, clozapine is known to reduce the patient's white blood cell count, lowering immunity and sometimes causing serious illness and death. Risperidone is associated with rampant weight gain, and some of these drugs can induce diabetes. Quetiapine, a newer antipsychotic marketed in New Zealand as Seroquel, is increasingly prescribed as an adjunct to lithium. It is currently the subject of a class action lawsuit in the United States. The lawsuit, taken on behalf of 15,000 users, centres around whether the drug company AstraZeneca provided accurate information about its side effects, which include swelling in the arms and legs, a propensity towards developing diabetes and weight gain, among other things. I have a funny story about Cogentin, the side effect pill. After coming out of hospital, I went to stay with my father and stepmother for a week on respite leave. I was on quite a lot of Malaril and the restless legs were kicking in, so Dad took me to see a doctor who prescribed a decent slug of Cogentin to ameliorate the symptoms, which is the usual approach. I started taking it that day, and by the next morning it was having a very strange effect on me. Early in the morning I came to and found myself in Dad's kitchen with him going, "What the hell are you doing, Catherine Mary?" The fridge was open and I was at the bench with a carton of margarine and a tin of jelly meat, mixing them up together in a bowl and making a total mess, with absolutely no idea of what I was doing or why I was doing it. "This is such a bloody mess. I'm feeding the cat?" I spluttered in bewilderment, not really sure if that was the right answer. "The bloody cat doesn't need feeding. What have you taken?" I tried to think. What had I taken? The Cogentin. Dad took them off me and I never had them again. Still to this day when I visit the doctor, on the allergy part of my patient slip it screams, "Cogentin exacerbates psychosis" in capital letters, like I'd forget. The truth is that all psychiatric medicines have some fairly alarming potential or actual side effects if you stop to read the fine print, stay on them too long, or maintain high dosages. The whole issue of medication is one that needs to be taken on balance. Choosing to take medication as prescribed can deliver some much-needed sanity. The best medication regime is the most minimal dosage required to achieve and maintain stability. This will often be far less than a doctor or psychiatrist may be comfortable with, and they can insist through a compulsory treatment order that you take more. However, if a person can demonstrate good control and management of their condition, come across as informed and competent, a doctor may be more willing to allow you to enter into the decision-making process. This trust can take a long time to achieve, though, and is aided by the doctor and the patient getting to know and observe each other over a period of time. Put bluntly, if you're unable or unwilling to demonstrate a degree of self-management of your medications and condition, the medical profession will waste no time in exerting control over you, your status as a patient, and your medication and treatment regime.